Daria Albinger, ABC News.
As our world changes, we'll keep you up to date. News Talk KVNU 102 FM 610 AM. Also on the new KVNU mobile app.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by the Duck Hunter. Logan City Mayor Holly Daines delivered a State of the City address on Tuesday night and on Wednesday. She appeared on KVNU's monthly Speak to the Mayor program during For the People with Jason Williams.
There is a lot going on, and I apologized for the length of my State of the City address last night, but I kept saying there's been so much to cover. It was a snapshot of what we have accomplished in the past year, as well as, some of our goals to come for the next year, and there's a lot happening.
One of the things happening is the demolition of the spot where the Emporium stood to make way for the Center Block Plaza. Daines said the demolition part is done.
They still have to haul away, but we anticipate construction beginning on the new plaza and the stage and everything that goes with that in May, and we hope to be ice skating by Christmas if the schedule stays on track. But can't you just see the views will be beautiful sitting in that plaza.
The other big Main Street project is the start of the demolition of the old Logan Library building.
And it will be rebuilt on the site. It will go all the way to the corner of 300 North. And because we're going up 3 stories, we'll have adequate space, and then we'll also have room for additional parking and for additional plaza space. So it's a win-win.
Mayor Daines said bids for the library project should be open by next week. KVNU News Time is 5:06. KVNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy, patchy fog through the night, low near 15. Partly sunny in the morning, then clearing. A little bit of patchy fog possible in the morning tomorrow. High temperature in the mid-30s. Nice day on Saturday, around 40 for the high. It's been to 38. It's 36 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Adams Wealth Advisors. They put clients first under any circumstance. You'll receive peace of mind with Adams Wealth Advisors. Schedule a time with an advisor today. Call 752-1702 or visit adamswealthadvisors.com.
Does your home have that stuffy winter smell? John at the Duck Hunter says it could be your air ducts holding on to dust and other surprises. To get rid of that smell, give John a call at the Duck Hunter. He'll thoroughly clean each duct in every room. Not with a shop vac, but with forced air and a vacuum that will make your mom proud. He can even run a camera through your vents to see what's going on. For a free consultation, call the Duck Hunter at 770-4813.
We are the Duck Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duck Hunter.
KVNU News Time is 5:08. Pilots and support staff from Hill Air Force Base's 34th Fighter Squadron have deployed to Europe amid tensions along the Ukrainian border with Russia, amassing a large military presence. Hill officials say the F-35A Lightning II was sent to Spangdahlem Air Base in western Germany, close to Luxembourg and Belgium. The active duty 388th and Reserve 419th Fighter Wing arrived Wednesday. The exact number of F-35As deployed was not released, nor were details of their specific mission. And 2 high school students were removed from a girls' basketball game in Salem after the school district said they used racial taunts against players of color. Both the Provo School District and Nebo School District confirmed to KUTV that 2 male students from Salem Hills High School, were in the bleachers during Tuesday night's game and made monkey noises while players of color shot free throws. The Nebo School District wrote in a statement that it's an unfortunate situation, especially when everyone works so hard to teach respect and unity. Both districts acknowledge that the principals of the respective schools were made aware of the incident and took immediate action during the game. A video of the basketball game posted to YouTube showed the Salem Hills High School principal approach the 2 students after the disruption and escort them from the basketball court. KVNU News Time is 5:09. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
News Talk KVNU, 610 AM at 102.1 FM.
2022 is all about you. This is Dan at the Sports Academy. It's time to take control of one of the most important parts of your life, your health. Sports Academy offers the largest variety of fitness equipment and group fitness classes like cycling, yoga, high fitness, Zumba, and water aerobics. Classes for all ages and abilities. Take control of your health and experience the difference at the Sports Academy. Your club, your results, your life.
Beaver Mountain is open for the season. Lifts are open daily from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call 753-4822 for a daily ski report or check them out on the web at skithebeav.com for upcoming events, current weather, ticket, rental, and lesson information. Stop by the Beaver Mountain Logan office located at 1351 East 700 North to pre-purchase your lift tickets, get your ski and snowboard rentals, and check out their retail items. Come on up and ski the Beav.
Dr. Eric Lund is a local orthodontist and relies on the Cache Valley Media Group to help spread the word to the folks of Cache Valley.
I had one simple message that I wanted to get out, and the radio is the only way to do it. If you live here, it's the best.
Anything surprise you about being on the radio?
Honestly, it was the amount of people that responded to the radio ad.
Visit CacheValleyMediaGroup.com or call 752-1390.
It's a professional, good experience.
Helping you grow your business. Cache Valley Media Group. Helping your business grow.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People, Hour 2 of today's show, Thursday, February 17th. Quite a day on Capitol Hill today and yesterday. As we were wrapping up yesterday, a committee meeting in which the new Cache County attorney actually spoke. It involved a bill that really has nothing to do with any county but Salt Lake County, and it seems to stem, even the sponsor, Senator Lincoln Fillmore, agrees, from a political dispute, a dispute between two Republican members of the Salt Lake County Council, and one of them, upset he wasn't getting his way. Councilmember Dave Alvord went to the legislature, to Senator Fillmore, and said, "Run this bill for me." And Fillmore said yes. And what the bill does is make some restrictions. It lays out some restrictions on when a county council, like Cache County Council or Salt Lake County Council or the Weber County Council, or commissioners, when they are looking at ordinances and things like that, it's often reviewed by the county attorney's office or a district attorney, as is the case with Salt Lake County and Davis County. They have a district attorney instead of county attorney. Weber County, Cache County, Box Elder County, they have a county attorney, and that office will oftentimes review ordinances and let them know if it's constitutional, if it's legal, if it walks all over any other ordinances, things like that. And Salt Lake County council member apparently not happy that the district attorney had been returning some of the reviews and results on proposed ordinances that he wanted as a council member. He wants the legislature to change it so that all counties have to go to independent counsel. They have to hire attorneys, basically, for this, or hire one permanently for this. And Cache County attorney showed up yesterday alongside many, many others outside of Salt Lake County and said, this is, to quote, a solution seeking a problem. Senator Fillmore says he's not dropping the bill, but the committee did pass the bill on to a full Senate debate, but there was a lot of apprehension. Senator Dan Thatcher, chair of the committee yesterday, agreed with Cache County attorney, said, I'm recommending we send this bill to a full Senate debate to give everyone involved a chance to talk and see if there's some kind of a compromise before it goes to an actual Senate floor debate. But the chair, Senator Daniel Thatcher, said it seems like this is all over hurt feelings. And it looks like it is. So just a reminder that they're human like us, and sometimes there are petty squabbles that gum up the works a bit. Thankfully, much more serious work has been done by the legislature, including a bill. We haven't talked about this bill yet, but this is an interesting bill making its way through the Senate right now. It was just unveiled this week on Monday, And it's sponsored by Senator from the Weber County area, Senator Ann Milner. She has a background in education and is kind of the go-to person in the Senate for education-related bills, or has been. But this bill has not much to do with education. This is actually a manufacturing bill. It's a bill that would create a granting program to entice manufacturing companies, people who make a physical thing, back into Utah. We've lost a lot of that, and the nation has, but Utah especially has lost a lot of that. And so this bill would create a grant program, a state-funded grant program, that would offer grants to companies, either startups or companies already established but looking to expand, to do so here in Utah and create manufacturing jobs. Senator Ann Milner spoke to this during the media availability today of the Utah Senate and explained why she thought this bill was necessary and necessary now.
The focus of this bill is, I think we learned through the pandemic that we need to do some reshoring. And reshoring might mean it's reshoring from out of the country, but it might mean we need to reshore inside the state of Utah, focusing on our supply chains, because those supply chains, if you're totally dependent on a supply chain, your company can get shut down because you're not able to get ready access to what you need in order to be able to produce your product. And I think we have to think carefully about two areas. One, helping support our companies in making sure that they have the supply chains in place, that they're going to be able to keep their companies up and functioning. Secondly, that there are really key products in this state that we want to make sure we have access to. And we learned that we don't have access to certain things that may be related to medical supplies and other things that are really important. So I want to make sure we're really focused on helping that. And the challenge too, besides that, is that we're really constrained on workforce. So in order to do that, we've got to think about how do we help support more automated systems to make this work. So in a time when we're really short on workforce. Yeah.
That bill currently sits ahead of a Senate committee, and we'll see what that committee does early next week with the manufacturing grant system the bill would set up. Also today during the Senate press conference, they've managed to avoid this quite. So there's a school voucher bill. There's an attempt at this every few years. Lawmakers still smarting from 14 years ago when the public basically slapped their hands after they rammed through a school voucher system bill, and the governor vetoed it. Then they overrode the governor's veto, and then there was a public referendum, and the referendum was successful. The school voucher program was not created here in Utah. This has been a thorn in several lawmakers' sides. School vouchers, it's almost become sort of an ideological, political issue. There isn't a lot of evidence that it makes that much of a difference. Either way, but it's something that a few just are absolutely convinced has to happen. And you can't deny the fact there's a lot of money to be made as well in private education, charter schools, and that's definitely a part of this, though they won't say that. But every time the question of this bill has come up, the Senate has said, well, it's a House bill. We have to wait until we see what the House passes. What changed today is Governor Cox hosted his monthly news conference. We'll have some highlights for that for you coming up on tomorrow's show. But the governor had a lot to say. The governor hinted, though, at a couple of vetoes. He didn't come right out and say there would be a veto, but he said, when it came to a bill that would ban private businesses from enacting their own vaccine mandate for employees or even customers, the legislature is contemplating a bill that would stop businesses from being able to do that. And the governor said pretty clearly today, I'm tired of COVID-19 bills. And he said before he wouldn't be signing any legislation that was telling businesses what they can and can't do. So clear veto threat from the governor there. There was also a hint from the governor that he might veto a voucher bill should the legislature pass a school voucher program bill. The governor said, and the way he approached this one, he said, well, I represent the whole state. many of these lawmakers are representing very populated areas like Salt Lake and Utah counties, and that's where support for school voucher programs from the legislators, at least, is the highest. Where it's not very popular and where it would actually maybe harm school children and families, the governor said, is in rural areas. And I told everyone I plan to be a rural governor, despite the fact that I have to spend most of my time in Salt Lake City as governor. I want to make the voice of rural communities louder than it has been. And so the governor didn't come right out and say he would veto a school voucher bill, but he did say, voucher programs really don't benefit rural areas. And so he hinted, at least, at a veto. That then came up as a question later in the afternoon during the Senate media availability. There was a question directly for the Senate president and Senate leadership on the governor's comments. The question was, did you hear the governor hint at a veto of a voucher program should the legislature pass this bill? And any thoughts on that? Here's what Senate leadership, still having not seen the bill yet, it hasn't passed the House yet, here's what they had to say.
Maybe I'll start and give my personal thoughts. There's probably a buried, I think, thought pattern on it. But, as I saw the governor's comment, one of the reasons they're rounded numbers, so they're easier math for me. But assuming that a WPU was $10,000 per student, if you know what a WPU is, a weighted pupil unit. If that were $10,000, and if you gave here's Senator Cullimore, if you gave a scholarship of $5,000 and the student left the system, you'd have still $5,000 extra dollars inside of the education system. That $5,000 could be spread among all the other teachers to either increase their salaries, but you'd actually reduce classroom size. So when you do these type of things, the Hope Scholarship, we found it with Carson Smith, quite frankly. We have a similar type of scholarship for those with autism and special needs students. We give the student less money than we normally would inside the education system. And that leaves additional money to be spread among the other students inside the education system, which actually allows us to reduce classroom size and raise salaries. At least that's what the math would tell me. But Senator Cullimore's here. He probably wants to, they're asking about the governor's announcement. He's going to may veto the bill.
Yeah, I think we expect that this is an ongoing conversation and discussion, and there are certainly some concerns that President Adams has alluded to. But I think some of those concerns are off base, particularly with Amendment G and the way that the budget can be assessed at this point. There's been significant investment into the education budget last year. There's anticipated significant investment into it again this year. And so to say that it's pulling from the education budget, I think is not completely on point. And the reality is, over the past couple of years, what education looks like has changed some, right? And the parents felt a lot of the weight of the responsibility over these past couple of years. But I think that is more in line with the traditional values of Utah. Education begins in the home.
That was Senator Cullimore, the Senate sponsor of the bill, and previous to him, Senator Stuart Adams. And to translate all that, Senator Adams basically saying, yes, this would take money away from school kids and spread it out over those going to private schools. But the math, he says, I don't know how they get to this, the math then says they'd actually in the end have somehow magically more money for the kids still in public schools. And then Senator Cullimore sits down and echoes that. None of this adds up, and that's why the governor's saying he'll veto the bill, but that was at least an attempt at justification for a voucher bill that's making its way through the legislature as we speak. So that was the update from the Utah State Senate today. We've got more legislative coverage to get to. Also talk about the Family Place's upcoming Princess Party. Very cool fundraiser they're doing. All of that coming up here on For the People right after this.
At Heritage Jeep, February is the month that we honor American legends, and during our President's Day sales event, there's never been a better time to find yourself in a legendary Jeep vehicle, like the new Jeep Gladiator, one of the most versatile Jeep vehicles ever. Well-qualified leasees can get a low-mileage 39-month lease for just $339 a month. Jeep has always been on the cutting edge of innovation and performance, and they've proven that once again with the 375-horsepower 2022 Jeep Wrangler 4xe, Jeep's first plug-in hybrid vehicle. And you've got to check out the all-new 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, the full-size sports utility vehicle that strikes the perfect balance between luxury and capability. Whichever Jeep vehicle you choose, you'll know that you're behind the wheel of the true American legend, and the confidence and the ability to go wherever your adventure takes you. The President's Day sales event all month long at Heritage of Brigham City, Tremont, and Logan. Heritage Jeep, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Friday on This Morning, America's First News. Critics say the disaster that was the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan late last summer is haunting President Biden's response to the Russia-Ukraine standoff. Also, would a proposed federal gas tax holiday help prices at the pump? Hear what experts are saying. And the crash course in economics on our college campuses. Friday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Just a little update there on doings afoot at on Capitol Hill. Things are winding down a bit for the week, so I don't expect there to be any, big maneuvers or surprises for the remainder of the week. But we're heading into the final stretch, final 3 weeks, 2.5 of the legislative session. So the pace is going to pick up over the next couple of weeks. So if you're tracking all this is the time when you really want to be paying attention, because it is in those final weeks when you have those bills that they were kind of not wanting to talk a lot about that pop up. People are going to oftentimes tell me, oh, you're cynical. Don't be like that. No, this literally happens every legislative session. And it's not something you can blame the full legislature for, in my opinion. I've seen it happen every legislative session, and it's always just that one lawmaker, that one person that feels, this bill is just too important to not push in at the last minute. And then they're always surprised when the public, understandably, gets super suspicious about the bill. Why did you hold it until the final weeks? Were you hoping we wouldn't notice? And they're always shocked. They're like, why? I can't believe the public reacted this way. It's as predictable as rain. Or actually, I should say the sunrise. Every single legislative session, there is 1 or 2 lawmakers that self-select for this. So keep an eye out. I'm guessing what's going to eat up most of the public attention in the legislative session, the remainder of the session, is going to be this voucher debate. Hope scholarships, they're calling it, because they know if they say vouchers, it's going to be unpopular everywhere outside of Utah County. And so they're not calling it vouchers. But it is a voucher bill, and it is not that different from the one that Utah voters defeated via referendum after the legislature tried to ram it through back in 2007 and 2008. It's basically the same thing with a different name, Hope Scholarships. There is a catch to this. If it passes the legislature, this is a little fail-safe they wrote into statute for themselves with the ballot initiative and referendum processes. If it passes the House and the Senate with more than 2/3 majority, it is not up for referendum. The citizens won't be able to repeal this themselves. It would rely entirely on a governor's veto. And it would then come down to the legislature to decide if they have the votes to override the governor's veto, and if they want to do that, because obviously that's a pretty ugly look for them at that point. And Governor Cox, as I mentioned, Governor Cox said he's going to veto it. I mean, he didn't use the word veto, but he said there were 2 questions during his monthly news conference today that Governor Cox issued basically a thinly veiled veto threat. One was a bill that would ban businesses from enacting vaccine mandates on their own employees or even their customers. If a business owner chose to do so, the governor said they should be able to. And he said, I'm pretty tired of COVID-19 related bills coming out of the legislature at this point. So that's basically the governor saying, and he has said previously he would, more clearly, he'd previously said, Governor Cox, I will not be signing, those were his exact words, I will not be signing any bills that tell businesses what to do when it comes to this virus and vaccines. So the governor feels that it should be up to businesses to decide, each and every one. And he said very clearly before that's how he's going to approach any bills related to COVID-19 or vaccinations. So basically the governor's saying he will veto that bill. And then when it came to the school voucher bill, which again, they're calling them Hope Scholarships. But it's a voucher bill. The governor said he would be vetoing it. He was more clear on that one. He said it is something that is, he said, when I got elected, I promised to be a voice for rural Utah because I felt that rural Utah was getting a bit overridden legislatively and otherwise by the large counties, Davis, Salt Lake, and Utah counties. And so he said, I promised when elected, and I believe I was elected on this mandate from voters to be a voice for rural Utah. And he said, school vouchers do not help rural communities. They might be popular politically and otherwise, and it is an ideological battle as well on this. There's almost a religious conviction for opponents and proponents of school vouchers. So it's become another one of those things where you just, whatever camp you're in, you believe in it or don't, regardless of what evidence might tell you otherwise. Vouchers have become a bit of that, unfortunately, because there's probably a place for them. This, though, a statewide voucher program that would just suck money out of public education and dump it into the hands of upper middle class families so they can go to private schools. It's really not a popular idea outside of Utah County, and the governor is governor of the state, whereas each lawmaker is simply representative of that district, that small portion of the state. And the governor hinted at that today. He said, look, I promised to be the governor for rural communities and the voice of rural communities while still representing those more populous areas in the along the Wasatch Front and South. But he said vouchers are not popular and I don't believe helpful for education in rural communities. So he said he's going to veto that one. The message was heard loud and clear. House Bill 331, the school voucher bill, sponsored in the House by Representative Candace Pierucci and sponsored in the Senate by Senator Kirk Collimore. That bill was just circled. As we were playing the audio of today's Senate media briefing, where the Senate President and Senator Collimore did their best to justify it with some math. The math they were using had some holes in it. And the bill has been circled, which basically means the sponsor, I'm not sure whether it was Pierucci in the House or Collimore in the Senate, but one of the sponsors has pulled the bill for the time. It doesn't mean it's dead, but it does mean they have pulled the bill from consideration. That might be because after the governor's words today, they've decided the whole thing needs a gigantic rewrite of some kind. It might be because with the governor's veto threat, they've decided this is just not the year to have the fight. We'll see if that is the case. But it was headed to the committee in the House, the House floor. It was going to be discussed, and it was circled just a few minutes ago by one of the sponsors. So maybe we won't be having the voucher fight after all. I'm guessing it's going to come up, and I'm guessing that's probably going to take up most of the air in the room. There's a lot more going on. Keeping an eye on a lot of these water bills. We're actually going to speak with some water experts here in Cache Valley next week about this specifically. Reach out to the Water District and more, see what they're keeping an eye on. Also, the Great Salt Lake. Looks like the Great Salt Lake is probably going to be getting about $40 million dedicated from the legislature in taxpayer funds to figure out how to save it and restore it at this point. That's a lot of money, but even the Senate president said that's probably just a starting point. It's probably going to take a lot more than that. We'll see where all this lands, but I know that's one I'm paying a lot of attention to. And another announcement, if you haven't been able to take advantage of any of this fun at the legislature, they're working late tonight. They usually don't do this until the final 2 weeks, but the House is a bit behind the Senate, quite a bit behind the Senate, and they have to keep up, or otherwise they'll be angering a lot of senators by accidentally killing their bills by running out of time. So the House is actually working late tonight. They will probably work until about 8 o'clock. So if you haven't had a chance to listen into House floor debates and things like that, and you want to see what it's like, le.utah.gov. The Senate will be going home, but the House is going to be working until about 8 o'clock tonight. And then everybody is getting out early tomorrow. That's why they're doing it, it looks like. All right. On the other side, princess parties. Our good friends at the Family Place just keep knocking it out of the park with creative ways to keep families entertained and engaged and also connected to each other at a time when it's a bit harder to do that for reasonable reasons. Also, to keep their own activities available, they depend on community support. They've really gotten creative about this. We spoke a little while ago about their giving tree and their little online vending machine at thefamilyplaceutah.org. Check those out, of course, but another one to talk about. And if you or your kids are fans of princesses, you're going to be excited about this one. We'll talk about it on the other side of these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 5:36, and the news is brought to you by Northern Steel Building. Colonel Gail Halverson, famously known as the Berlin Candy Bomber, died Wednesday night at the age of 101, according to his family. Halverson dropped hundreds of boxes of candy using tiny parachutes into West Berlin during the Soviet blockade in 1948 and 49. Halverson was born in Salt Lake City. He grew up on small farms, first in Rigby, Idaho, and then in Garland, Utah. He graduated from Bear River High School before briefly attending Utah State University. He joined the U.S. Air Force in May 1942. According to a statement from Halverson's family, quote, he brought hope to a former enemy by dropping candy to the hungry children of Berlin using tiny parachutes fashioned from handkerchiefs. Ultimately, over 23 tons of candy were dropped to waiting children over the course of Operation Little Vittles as part of the U.S.-British-French relief operation that kept over 2 million people in Berlin fed by humanitarian airlifts, end of quote. In June 1948, pilots flew the ambitious mission to feed and supply West Berlin after the Soviets blockaded the city. They flew a total of 278,000 flights to the areas, bringing in 203 million tons of supplies. Findings from a mine search in the West Desert of Utah have been sent to a lab in Salt Lake City to determine if anything found is evidence of where Susan Cox Powell was left. Those findings included bones, a pair of pants that may be women's sizing and style, as well as other clothing scraps and trash. While it's all potential evidence of the unsolved case, Susan's family and friends are just waiting for any answer. Dave Sparks of the TV show Diesel Brothers spent the majority of the last 2 weeks running an operation to help find Susan Cox Powell's final resting place, searching a mine shaft in the West Desert. Fox 13 reports that the recovered items found have been sent to Intermountain Forensics, a lab in Salt Lake City, that will analyze the results. One of the items that was recovered that has many family and friends convinced what was found belonged to Susan was a pair of women's pants that measure around 26 inches in size. And House Speaker Brad Wilson filed a bill that allocates $40 million to efforts to protect the Great Salt Lake by getting more water into it. House Bill 410 builds off of something that environmental groups have tried, getting water rights for the Great Salt Lake. Fox 13 reported last year that the Audubon Society and Nature Conservancy inked a deal with Rio Tinto Kennecott to lease water rights for the lake itself, which is a first. The lake itself does not have water rights because it's a terminal basin, and legally any water that enters the Great Salt Lake is deemed to have no beneficial use. That's despite it being a major contributor to Utah's ecosystem, and a shrinking lake has the potential to stir up toxic dust storms and kill our snowpack. KBNU News Time is 5:40.
A building is just a building until it's your building. It's where you work, where you create, and where you store your valuable equipment. You take pride in your building, so make sure it's built right and built to last. Northern Steel Buildings will guide you from concept to construction. For your commercial, agricultural, or industrial steel building, visit northernsteelbuilding.com to see their quality work, or call 435-677-7300. Northern Steel Buildings. Value from concept to construction.
KBNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy, patchy fog at times tonight, low near 15, and then partly cloudy Friday morning, then clearing, patchy morning fog, high temperature in the mid-30s, and then pretty nice day Saturday, around 40 for the high. It's been to 38, it's 34 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Wheatland Seed. With higher fertilizer prices and drought conditions, 2022 will be challenging, so lower your input costs during Wheatland Seed's pre-season sale. All oats, barley, cover crops, and alfalfa will be priced below last year's prices. Visit wheatlandseed.com for more information. For more details on these and other stories, visit cashvalleydaily.com.
NMLS 1817019.
From our Freedom Loan that covers 100% of your closing costs to our $1,000 lowest rate guarantee. As Utah's premier mortgage broker, LendRight Mortgage shops the top lenders in the country to find you the absolute lowest rate and fees. We often beat other lenders' rates by 1/4 to 0.5%. That means a lower mortgage payment for you, which can save you tens of thousands over the life of your loan. Compare us to any lender. If we can't save you a minimum of $1,000, we'll give you $1,000. Nobody does what LendRight Mortgage does. Nobody. See our rates and get a free quote on your purchase or refinance. Call 801-APPROVE or visit lendrightmortgage.com. Crushing other lenders is our specialty. Call 801-APPROVE or visit lendrightmortgage.com.
This is Cache County Executive David Zook. I'd like to share some of the ways Cache County is modernizing and improving election security. Beginning in this year's general election, if you opt into the service, it's now possible to receive electronic ballot notifications that tell you where your ballot is in the election process. To ensure the right to a secret ballot is stronger than ever, the county has purchased professional ballot opening equipment that automatically hides all of your personal information. And to ensure that no one is ever allowed to vote more than once, the county now has electronic monitoring equipment that immediately notifies election staff of any issues or attempts by someone to get more than one ballot, regardless of which polling location they visit. Rest assured that Cache County is hard at work ensuring election 2022 is safe and secure. For more details, please visit cachecounty.org.
Get your heating fix, call Gary Ricks. His name was Gary. Gary Ricks. Gary's dream was fixing furnaces with a low service fee of $25. As the years went by, Gary's skills grew as he mastered home heating comfort and teaching other men and women to do the same. That's why they say, get your heating fix, call Gary Ricks. Glorious, legendary, magnificent. Gary Ricks Services. Give us a call. We repair all brands and will fix your furnace too.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. It's been a lot of fun to spotlight some of the things they're doing more intensely over the last few months. Our friends at the Family Place, let me back up a little bit. A lot of people aren't familiar with the Family Place, and honestly, there's not a comparable organization in northern Utah. They serve Box Elder County, Cache County, and Rich counties, and they even, in some ways, work their way up into Franklin and Idaho. And their entire goal is to help families, and whether that's giving stretched too thin parents a 2-hour break or something like that, or it's something if equally as important, just a fun game night that everyone can attend at one of their facilities, or even during the pandemic, some downloadable games and things like that. On the more clinical side of things, they offer counseling services. They offer assistance for children who have been or are just coming out of unimaginable traumatic situations. And so the Family Place is there to assist with all of those things. They rely on community support and state grants to do so as a nonprofit. And you can support them by making a donation, or if you want to have more fun, go through their online giving vending machine, their Starfish giving vending machine, because you can actually pick the things that you're going to be buying with your donation. I've bought a few of those stuffed black lab puppies that they give to kids sort of as a stand-in therapy dog. I love that idea, and plus, who doesn't love a black lab puppy, even if it's a stuffed animal? But there are like hundreds of different things. You can, for $50 donation, you can fill the gas tank in their mobile their van, where they take a lot of their crew out to do various things, trainings and things like that, or where they transport kids to the facilities for days of activities. So it's a really cool way to give, and you can do that individually at thefamilyplaceutah.org. I've linked to that on our Facebook page, but that's all a big setup, because the Family Place has also become quite famous for some annual events they put together with children in mind, of course. And this is one of their most popular events. I'm not sure, and Bill may be able to answer the question here in a bit, how many years this has happened, but I know it's been a few. It is time for the annual Family Place Princess Party, and our own Bill Walter had a chance to sit down and talk with Jennifer Anderson of the Family Place. Take it away, Bill.
Thank you, Jason. On the line today, we have Jennifer Anderson, who is the Chief Relationship Officer for the Family Place Utah. And, of course, the Family Place involved in lots of events that have been going on for some time with the Starfish donor giving that has been going on. But another big thing that they've had for a while now is the Princess Party. And that is going to be happening later this month. And Jennifer, thanks for spending a few minutes with us here on For the People.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk more about the Princess Party.
So the Princess Party is not too far off. It's, on the 26th?
That is correct. Saturday the 26th. We do have 2 sessions. Tickets are going fast, so we're encouraging people to go to our website, thefamilyplaceutah.org, to get your tickets. It's either 10 a.m. to 12 noon or 1:30 to 3:30 p.m., those 2 different sessions, and both are at Castle Manor in Hyde Park, in person, inside.
All right, 170 West, 3900 North is the address for Castle Manor here in the Valley. And again, 2 sessions, 10 to noon, 1:30 to 3:30. And just looking at the announcement here, it looks like a lot of great stuff for kids. Interactive fairy tale adventure, complete with real-life characters, fun arts and crafts. And it mentions that princes, not just princesses will be there, but princes will be on hand. That's to provide escort.
Yes. So it's really exciting because, as you know, there's both princes and princesses in these fairy tales. So we have those characters, and then we have a great cast of volunteers, not only for those characters, but to help us with our tea party, but also princes that will be there to escort children around to the various activities and craft stations like you've talked about. But there's also a beautiful winding staircase in Castle Manor. So one of the favorite things to watch is children being escorted up and down this staircase as they make their entrance or exit to the ballroom. And it's so special to them and darling to watch. And you'll see lots of cameras and videos going just for something that simple that makes children so happy.
And that is a great venue. I've been to one or two wedding receptions there, and that really fits perfectly with what you want to do with this party. So, what is the family place their history with these princess parties? This has been going on for a few years anyway.
Yes. So in the research that I've been told that's been done, this will be at a minimum our 9th princess party that we are having. And that they used to be hosted at Utah State, and it was a tea party. So I have been told about some really fun memories of that, seen some pictures, and it's really just grown since that time. And then, like we've talked about, found Castle Manor as the perfect venue for that. But it started with that location and, again, those volunteers that were wanting to contribute to the community, helping us with our mission to strengthen families and protect children. And while it is more of a prince and princess themed, it really is to focus on those family connections and providing opportunities for them to experience the magic and wonder of childhood, but also resiliency with families and having opportunities for them to have a shared experience, so that the parents can participate with the children as well, and then be able to take those things back into their homes and continue to have those opportunities for those experiences. So one of the activities is going to be some dance instruction. And so we just found that is a really fun way for families to interact. And it's not just parents and children. We have others that are either caregivers, or we have grandparents that come, of course, neighbors, people that are significant adults in the lives of these children, and they love it. And then they just take it back home with them and continue to build those connections. So we love this event. It's magical. It's so much fun. My face hurts at the end of the day because I smile the whole time that I'm there. It's awesome.
It is definitely hard not to. So great event that has been held at least for 9 years that we know of. This is about the 9th time for the Princess Party. And it sounds like a lot of nice memories will be made for young ones and for families. So now, if people still want to get tickets to this, what do they do?
So they go to our website, thefamilyplaceutah.org, and right there on the home page, there's a button to purchase Princess Party tickets. And you just click that. It will take you to the page. You can select your session, and you'll be able to see all those things. Every child's ticket comes with one adult ticket. And then if you want to purchase additional adult tickets to be able to come, you can do that right there as well. And like I said, we still have available tickets. They are selling out. We're really eager to see all those spots filled and all of those children that will be able to come and experience that day, which is wonderful. And it's part of our celebration of our Here's to 40 years. This is our 40th anniversary. So we hope to continue this tradition of providing this opportunity. It just keeps growing. And the volunteers, we're going to have over 100 volunteers that are making it possible for us to have this event.
Oh,
so we love
seeing
the community come together. It's really cool.
Yeah, February 26th, that is a Saturday, inside Castle Manor in Hyde Park. 2 sessions, 10 a.m. to noon, 1:30 to 3:30. Jennifer, thank you for spending a few minutes with us this afternoon on KVNU. Jennifer Anderson is the Chief Relationship Officer with the Family Place Utah. And I wish you a very memorable and lovely event on the 26th with the annual Princess Party.
Thank you so much. And you're welcome to come. I'm sure you have a Prince Charming outfit somewhere in a closet. So just dig that out, and we'd love to see you there.
I'll have, if I don't have one, maybe my wife can make me one. I don't know. But.
That's right. It would be wonderful.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jennifer, again. And Jason, back to you.
Thank you, Bill. And we all know that you have a princess costume, Bill. Come on.
A princess or princes?
Both.
Yeah.
You have to have.
And I can sing Purple Rain.
You have
too.
to have.
No.
Yeah, it's that kind of Prince costume with the curly hair. And, great interview, though. I'm glad you were able to speak with them. I like everything about the family place. And for the community out there, whether you're interested in the Princess Party or not, if you are, grab your tickets, as Bill said there, and Jennifer
Going
said.
fast.
Yeah, going fast. And you can buy them at thefamilyplaceutah.org while you're there. You can also spin that wheel on the Starfish Giving Machine. It's a lot of fun, and you can see what your dollars are going to. Support them. They deserve it. Thefamilyplaceutah.org, and we'll be back right after this.
It's here, your one chance this year to get BF Goodrich tires at wholesale prices or even less during the Discount Tire and Automotive 4-day warehouse sale. Through Saturday only, Discount Tire has the lowest guaranteed prices of the year. So low that BF Goodrich won't let them quote prices on the phone. Get into Discount Tire and Automotive now to find the best deals on the BF Goodrich All-Terrain KO2 and the BF Goodrich Control TA. Every BF Goodrich tire at the year's lowest prices, but only through Saturday. Thousands of tires in stock and unbelievable financing too. Discount Tire's layaway lets you take advantage of these hot prices now with just 20% down, or choose 6 months no interest financing. Discount Tire and Automotive has the lowest prices, period. They scour the competition to be sure nobody beats them, online or in person. Open till 7 on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 6 p.m. on Saturday, or shop anytime, day or night at webtires.net. Don't miss the lowest prices of the year now through Saturday at Discount Tire and Automotive in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield.
Discount Tire. So much more than a tire store.
My name is Dr. Brandon Prevey, and I love being a dentist. I work with Drs. Curtis Taylor, Anthony Larson, and Paul Harris. When people ask where our office is, I actually have two answers. First, I spend part of the week at Logan Dental Associates, and then second, I spend the other part at Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond. Both locations are a full-service dental office and can take care of everyone in the family. Call or go online and make your appointment with the office that's most convenient for you. Logan Dental Associates in Logan or Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond.
The best of Northern Utah, presented by Campbell Snacks, home of Pepperidge Farm, is almost here.
Best of Northern Utah.
Starting Wednesday, February 23rd, nominate your favorite businesses at bestofnorthernutah.com. This is the contest every business hopes to win. Last year, nearly 1,000 businesses were nominated. Help us recognize the best local businesses by nominating them at thebestofnorthernutah.com, starting February 23rd. Presented by Campbell Snacks, home of Pepperidge Farm.
Bill having his own little Prince party here in the studio.
I've always liked this
since
song.
He won't be able to make the Princess Party. One more time, thefamilyplaceutah.org. I always got a text from a friend who has volunteered currently and in the past off and on for the family place, and she texted and said, you always mention the Black Lab stuffed puppy. You should talk about some of the other things there as well. I just think this is the coolest idea. We know the family place. A lot of times they work with kids who are in or are just coming out of very traumatic situations, without getting into detail. That's serious stuff. They have professional licensed counselors involved, but they also depend on volunteers, and then of course they depend on community support to make all this happen. Because you can take the pressure off by helping fund some other stuff so they can focus on some of those critical services. It's amazing what they do and how long they've been doing it for and how much of it they do, from Franklin to Rich County to Cache County, Box Elder County. I keep going back to this Black Lab stuffed puppy. For a $20 donation in the Starfish Giving Machine at their website, thefamilyplaceutah.org, we know therapy animals work, especially for kids. But it's not realistic in all situations. And so what the family place does is they buy these stuffed Black Lab puppies. They're cute. I kind of want one myself. And they give those to the kids as a way to help them, process whatever the traumatic situation they're dealing with or just getting out of is. For a $20 donation, you can buy a kid a stuffed Black Lab puppy. So I keep going back to that. But yeah, there are a lot of other things. A $15 donation buys them cleaning supplies at all their facilities for a month. You can buy basketballs. You can fill the tank on the family place van for $50. You can, for a $50 donation, you can buy a kid horse classes, and also a form of therapy. For a $40 donation, you can help them keep the lights on for a month. There's kids empowered programs you can fund. There's just a lot of stuff. And it's, I like this. This is new. For a $25 donation, you can buy a set of hockey sticks and a safe puck for the kids there at the Family Place Playground. So check them out, thefamilyplaceutah.org. Thanks again to Jennifer Anderson for sitting down with you, Bill, to talk about the upcoming Princess Party. Parents, you can buy tickets for that at thefamilyplaceutah.org. Dave